Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Knowledge Bits. This is what I'm planning to be my last episode for my Mega Man X run. Hopefully, it shouldn't take that long. I used to beat this game in like 50 minutes, so I almost died. I should be able to beat it pretty soon. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about what I was going to talk about. Oh, perfect. We're going to be talking about working towards your goals. So it kind of has to do a little bit with the doing what you want from the first episode, but a little bit more specifically. So guys, what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do in your life? What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to achieve with your family, with your work, your business, with your lifestyle, with your community? What is it that you want to accomplish? Think about that. Now ask yourself this. Have I worked towards that in the last few months? If the answer is no, ask yourself, have I worked towards that in the last few years? And if the answer is no, well, why not? Guys, it's going to sound like I'm repeating myself a lot of times, but sometimes we just need to hear it. You know, I'm planning this to be like, oh, well, you hear, you could watch me play. I would encourage it because honestly, it's fun. But it's mainly for you guys to kind of listen to this while you're going through your day, just to kind of give you some food for thought, you know? And yeah, why haven't you worked towards your goals if you haven't? And if you have, okay, now ask yourself this. Have you been successful in getting closer to the goals you want to achieve? If the answer is no, then what the hell is wrong? Also, if you guys didn't know this, you probably did. I know this game's old, but that's why I was killing myself to get this. But yeah, why haven't you worked towards those goals? You have to do something about it. Like, we've talked about this. What's the point of going through your life wondering if you could have done something, wishing you could have done something, but nothing ever really happened? What's the point of that? I'm a person that believes if you have something in your mind and your heart, it's because you're supposed to go after it, you know? Now, of course, it doesn't mean everything's gonna work out, but life's more exciting that way. Oh, I already got hit. Yeah, life's more exciting that way. This part is gonna be tough, so I'm gonna do my best to talk, but my goodness, there's so much stuff going on in this level, or just in these parts, you know? I'm good at it, but talking and doing it is another thing. Also, if you guys didn't know, you can do this. You just go right here, do that, and then climb the wall. I used to try to speedrun this to see how fast I could do it, and I think the fastest I got was like about 42 minutes. It's tough. But anyways, yeah, we have to go after what we want and work towards those goals. So if you have goals, now the thing is this, if you haven't gone for them, you have to kind of have to set mini goals. Because this is the thing. Let's say you have a goal of, I don't know. Let's say you have a goal of wanting to be a professional basketball player, right? It's like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's a great goal. If you're, let's say you're athletic, you play in the basketball team, whatever, all this stuff, and let's say you're an 8th grader, right? You want to be a professional basketball player. What are you doing about it? Because wanting it is one thing, but working towards it is another thing. So if you want to be a professional basketball player, I'm just using this as a simple example because it's kind of easy to play it out. It's like, okay, then if you want to be a professional basketball player, you should probably be in your school team at least. Bare minimum. You should be practicing outside of school. You should be practicing your form. You should be practicing your cardio. You should be training. You should be improving. You should be going to basketball camps. You should be involved in a lot of stuff because it's very difficult to make it. And for some people, it might not be. Like, if you grew up as Shaq, you know, it's probably very easy. You're a huge guy, very strong. You could be a center pretty easily, whatever the case is. But if you're, let's say you're still tall, you're strong, you're a good player, you still need to work towards it because there's a lot of other strong, good players out there. And so my point is that your goal should be, okay, well, let's say you're in like 7th grade. My goal should be to be able to score the most points this season, be able to run my mile in this time. You know, like you have to set yourself. Oh, I forgot. I have to hit him. Hold on. Let me kill him. Oh my goodness. I think we can get this electrical boy, right? Oh, I am getting beat. That's what I get for not paying attention. But my point is that you have to do things that are heading in the direction of what you want to achieve, right? So if you're not doing things that head in that direction, you're either you either didn't think it through, or it's not important enough to you. And if it's not important enough to you, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of times whenever it's like we all get like, oh, like phases of our lives, you know, like, oh, I want to be an architect. And then you grow up a little bit more and you're like, you know what, maybe I want to be in business. And then you grow up a little bit more and it's like, you know what, maybe I want to be a scientist. And it's like, you know, life has so many things to offer. And it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to change interests too, and that's okay. But the thing is that if something is important enough to you, you have to stay focused. Because if you're not focused, time's gonna keep passing by and you're not gonna be getting anywhere. And it's gonna suck because you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, what the hell have I been doing all this time? And I know I've been there. I'm sure many of you have been there. And yeah, it's a terrible, my goodness, it's a terrible feeling, you know? And that's what I'm saying. You have to set many goals. So whatever the case is, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve, you have to be able to be like, okay, let's say for example, you want to buy a house. If you want to buy a house, your goal should be, okay, let's say I want to make 50,000 this year. I'm used to making 40,000, but I want to make 50,000. It's like, okay, well, how do you do that? You have to find another job, or you have to work extra hours, or whatever the case is, but you're setting a goal that is more than what you're used to, you know? Why? Because if you don't set a higher goal, you're not going to get anywhere else in your life. You have to strive for more than what you've been doing lately. And and that is something, I mean, think about it. And that's financial, right? But that's what's going to get you closer to the goal you want. Let's say a house is 300,000. You're going to like, okay, once I save 100,000, I'll get a loan, and then I start paying for a house, whatever it is. That's fine. But if you don't get to 100,000, you're going to be stuck in that phase of like, well, I want a new house, but I can't get it, and you're going to be stuck like that for a lot longer than you have to. That's the thing. That's the key. If you're in a place a lot longer than you have to be, you're not doing something right. And I'm not saying this just to be an ass. I'm saying this because I've been there too. I wanted to be successful or make a certain amount of money by a certain age. That didn't happen. Are you kidding me? All right, I do not want to deal with this, so I'm just gonna kill him. Oh, that was terrible. All right, hold on. He's gonna go that way. Got him. All right, cool. Anyways, I've been there, right? I've been like, okay, well, when I was young, when I was a teenager, I was like, okay, by the time I'm 24, I'm already gonna be at a great job. By the time I'm 26, I'm gonna have my own house. I'm gonna have this and that. Guys, I don't even have my own apartment yet, and it's sad to say. I mean, I'm close. Don't get me wrong. This next month, I'm gonna be applying, and I should be approved. And I researched it. I talked to them. I did my part, you know. So it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen next month, it's gonna happen pretty damn soon. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen next month. And so you have to do your part, and you have to do your work. You have to work towards it. You have to do something, because my goodness, because if you don't, time's gonna be passing you by, and you're gonna be feeling like shit. You're not gonna feel good about yourself. You're gonna feel like, oh well, I still don't have this, or I still haven't been able to do this thing with my life, or whatever it is. And trust me, guys, I've been there so much, and I hate it. Oh, all right, this is really annoying. I keep using this because I'm like, oh, it'll protect me. That's not happening. I'll use this one. And yeah, it's just, why do we let time keep passing us by without doing something that we want to do in our lives? You know, it's just, he's dead. It just doesn't make sense. if I want to be if I want to have a house or I want to have my own apartment, what have I been doing the last 5 years, 10 years? And that's the thing, guys. You have to be doing something about it. So for me, my goal in getting my apartment right is okay. I have to be consistent for 3 months because that's how the whole apartment getting an apartment works. You have to make consistent income for 3 months, and and you have to. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. There we go. And you have to make a certain amount, and yeah, that's pretty much it. To be honest, I mean, have some money in the bank account, and yeah, it's not that complicated, to be honest. What was challenging for me is that I didn't have the consistent money there. I can make the money, but I wasn't consistent with it. And that's... What's he weak against? Oh yeah, he's weak against this. Alright. Wait, why don't I just use the Hadouken? Oh. Anyways, oh my goodness. Alright. I just want you to die. Not you guys. But, oh, alright, whatever. Oh, this is going terribly. I'm just gonna kill him with the sting thingy. But yeah. Like, I just researched it and I'm like, okay, I just need to make this much money every month. I need to be consistent for 3 months. Have enough money in the bank account, which I've always had pretty much, but it's just the consistency part for the earnings. And then I apply and that's it. It's not that complicated. So now I had to focus on that. That's part of the reason why it took me so long to start recording. That's part of the reason why I haven't had many days off lately too, because I was focused on that. That was the priority. And that's the thing, we have to set our priorities. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be always putting work before everything else. It's just that for this period of time, I had to, because if I didn't, I'm going to spend more time not having an apartment, not living the way I want to live, you know? And fuck that. It's been a long time. It's been a long time already. I've been wanting it for a while. I just don't... I don't want to... Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't want to make it any longer, you know? I just want to... I want to live life on my terms. I want to live life the way... Well, the way I want to live life. I don't want to... Whoa. I wonder if you guys heard that. I'm going to have to check back on that. But I just don't want to be, you know, like, oh, well, I don't have my own place and I can't do... I don't know. Honestly, I'm getting tired. I'm getting really tired because this part requires more of my mental energy than any other part of the game. All I want you to remember is don't let too much time pass you by. Sometimes we need a break. Sometimes we need a mental break to be able to just kind of focus on what's important, you know? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that, honestly, if something isn't happening for a very long time, it's because we're not doing something about it. It's always what it's going to be. If we're not any closer to our goals than we were a year ago, it's because we didn't do anything about it. So, like, for example, physically, for me, I was like, oh, this is going to be... I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I was like, oh, this is going to be the year when I actually get the physical body that I want. That didn't happen. Why? Because I didn't focus. I didn't make it a priority. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I had other things I had to worry about. I had to worry about making money. I had to worry about starting YouTube. I had to worry about other things. So I'm okay with that. Like, it happens. But if it was important enough for me and I'm like, you know what? I'm pissed off at myself because I haven't gotten where I want to be, then there's something that we need to change, you know? And that's not good. And it all comes back to this. What's important to you? Do you want to have a closer relationship with your wife? Do you want to have a closer relationship with your kids? Do you want to... And remember, guys, I'm a guy, so I'm going to be thinking a lot about, like, wife, right? That's because it's my situation. It's just easier. But, I mean, spouse, whatever it is. Whatever your situation is. But, yeah, Do I want to have a closer relationship with them? Do I want to be able to have more date nights with my girlfriend? Do I want to spend more time at the gym? Whatever the case is, one thing, well, here's another thing. One thing that's really good to do is write it down. Write down what's important to you. And, well, not just one thing, right? Write down everything that's important to you. And create a priority list. Create a priority list of like, okay, this is like 100%. I need to focus on this. And this is like, well, I would like this to be better, but it's not as important as A, B, and C, you know? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being like real about it, because guys, we only have 24 hours in a day. We're only human. We cannot do everything in the world, and that's okay. You have to, first of all, you have to accept that. You have to be able to acknowledge like, okay, well, I don't have time for all this, but I have time for these first 5 things, you know? And then it's like, okay, well, during the week, I'm going to set 5 hours of time for this and 2 hours of time for that. And you can do that. Write it down and make a priority list, because then that way it will make it easier for you to focus, because we all have different things we want. I want so many things in the world. Okay, financially, I want many things for sure, because it leads to experiences and a bunch of other stuff. So financially, I want to be financially independent, not have to worry about money, not have to worry about bills, not have to think about like how much money I have in the bank account. I don't want to worry about that stuff. But the thing is that I also want to be able to experience things in the world. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to meet different people, meet different cultures. And that also has to do with my time, you know? Like, if I'm working all the time and I don't have time to do all these other things, gotcha. If I don't have time to do all these other things, that's also, like, I don't know. I have to figure out how to get that, you know? I have to figure out how to make enough money and be able to have time for the things that I want to do in my life. And that's part of the reason why I started YouTube, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but if I am successful, and I'm very hopeful that I am successful, because, well, I'm going to put the work behind it. If I am successful, then I don't have to spend as much time working, you know? At least that's the goal. I mean, I know many people do, and I'm not disregarding that that's a possibility. I'm just saying that if I can do something about it, why not do something about it? Why wait and see what happens? Why give up and assume that this is the way my life's gonna go for the rest of my life? Why and another thing is, why give into the ideas of other people, you know? Like, there's many people who say like, oh, well, I can't do this because I have to work. And it's like, that's their excuse. I can't do this because I have to work. It's like, okay, well, why do you have to work? Well, because I have to make money. It's like, okay, then why don't you make more money? It's like, well, I can't. It's like, no, you can. You just haven't figured out how to do it. Oh, I was about to get him. Oh, I was about to get him again. Oh. Well, whatever. I'll just beat him with this. And that's the thing. It's like, why am I going to make an excuse of I can't? Yes, you can. Why? Because other people have been able to do it. Oh, well, I'm not like them. It's like, yeah, you're right. You're not like them. But they have the same number of hours that we do. I'm assuming for the most part, they have access to similar things in the world. Now, some people, of course, are a little bit more privileged. I get that. But you just have to work harder. That's fine. And that's the thing. If ask yourself, is the amount of work required for this worth it? And if the answer is yes, then there you go. Just go for it. If the answer is no, then that's okay. But then in that case, you have to accept it and just let it go. Because if it's not worth it, then why are you lying to yourself saying that you actually care about that? Because you probably, and I'm not saying you don't care about that. I'm just saying it's not important enough, you know? And if it's not important enough, why stress yourself out about it? That goes back to our last one. Why stress yourself out about things that don't matter? Because if something's important to you, then you have to do what it takes to get to what you want in a situation. My goodness, sorry guys, it's just this guy's a punk. and that's the thing. Just go for it. If it's hard for you, it's hard for you. I'm sorry, life isn't fair. Life's gonna be a lot easier for some people. Whatever, that's just the way it is. I mean, if you were born with a rich family, that's great. If you were born with a poor family, that's great. Everyone has the potential to be successful, to get the things you want in your life. It's just a matter of whether you give up or not. If you gave up, your goals are just an illusion. Your goals are not really goals. They're more of like a, what's the word? Um, I mean, illusion's pretty good. Your goals are just a nice thought. That's pretty much what they are. Because if you don't work towards them, they're never going to happen. Oh, I want to be, let's say for example, let's go back to the basketball player. I want to be a professional basketball player. Okay, cool. What are you doing about it? If you're not doing anything about it, how the hell is it ever going to happen? That's going to be the same for most things in life. Oh, well, I want to be successful in YouTube, for example, let's say, right? If I want to be successful in YouTube, why haven't I not done anything towards it? Why am I waiting for it to just pick up? Why am I just, oh, okay, well, hopefully I'll be lucky. It's like, no, guys, you have to be able to put the work behind it. For example, for me, it's like, okay, I have to, nice, I got him. I have to figure out the ins and outs of YouTube. I have to figure out, okay, how do I get my video to reach more people? How do I reach out to people? How do I advertise to people? How do I make sure that people are starting to notice me on YouTube and that I'm starting to grow? Because my goal, there we go. My goal for this year is, I already got hit. My goal for this year is to get 100,000. Get to 100,000 subscribers. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying my goal. That's my actual goal. I wrote it down. I was like, okay, this is my goal. This is where I want to be by 6 months. This is where I want to be by 2 months, all this stuff. I wrote it down because I'm like, okay, if I'm starting to see my channel grow in that direction, then that's great, because that means that I'm doing something right. Now, if I don't see my channel starting to grow in that direction, that means I have to change something. Because I'm sorry, but if you don't get it right the first time, that's gonna be most of the times. It's just gonna be like that, you know. Like with this, so I'm recording on my SNES Classic, right? I got my capture card. I was like, okay, let me make sure this works. I tried it out. The audio wasn't working on the capture card. I'm like, okay, well now I need to figure out how to get this thing working. Eventually, after a few months, I got it working. And the only reason it took a few months was not because it actually would have taken a few months. It's because I had to work. And that's the thing. Like, you have to be okay with, like, oh, well, I wanted to do this faster, but I had stuff got in the way. I understand stuff gets in the way. But that doesn't mean that you just stop and then it's like, oh, well, I couldn't get it to work and that's it. I could have just not gotten this to work, and then it's like, oh, well, I never started YouTube because I tried one time and then the audio wasn't working, so I just gave up. It's like, well, that's your choice. You can give up, but if it matters enough, you'll figure it out. That's what I did. I figured it out. I looked at a bunch of videos. I did a bunch of trial and error. I asked friends for help. Eventually, I got it to work. And then I was going to finally start recording on the... I was going to try to record on my original SNES, but that didn't work. So I'm like, you know what? The Mini has Mega Man X on it. I'll just play it on there. I started trying with the Mini, and then I noticed that it was not synced properly. The audio was off. So I'm like, okay, now I need to fix this. And this was literally before I started recording. So before my first episode, I spent about, I want to say like 2.5 hours just trying to get it to work. Because it wouldn't work. And I looked up stuff and it wouldn't work. And it was annoying. It was frustrating. But you know what? I figured it out. You just have to be patient. You have to do something about it. Oh, well, there you go. You have to do something about it. If you don't, it's never going to get resolved. It's never going to get fixed. You're never going to head in the direction that you want to. You'll just stay at a standstill. And that's the thing, guys. You have to sometimes put more work than you're expecting. And it sucks. I get it. It's really annoying. But, I mean, that's just how life works, you know? For example, so I went to college. I have a degree in computer science. Changed my majors a few times, blah, blah, blah. I assumed, okay, I got out of high school. I'm like, I'm going to go to college for 4 years, get a bachelor's, then I'll go for another year or two or whatever it takes to get a master's and blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I'm 24, 25, I'll have a master's, right? That didn't happen. I went to college. I think I got my bachelor's when I was 25. So it took me about 7 years to get my bachelor's. Maybe 6.5, I think is what it was. Because I was finished by December. It took me 6.5 years to get my bachelor's. When I thought that by 6 years I would have a master's, by 4 years I'd have a bachelor's. What the hell happened? What happened is always the same thing. It's life, guys. Life doesn't always work out the way you want it to. But if the goal is important enough to you, you have to do what it takes. You have to, because if you don't, it will eat you later in life. You'll beat yourself up over it. And you could just let it go and be like, you know what? That was just something in my past, and that's perfectly fine. You could completely let it go and be like, well, it's not important to me anymore. That's fine. But if it is important to you, and it's still bugging you, it's because you have to do something about it. If there's something inside of you telling you like, oh, I want this, it's because you have to work towards it. Wanting is wishful thinking. I think that's what I was going to say earlier. Being successful due to luck is wishful thinking. It's just goals are just wishful thinking when you don't work towards them. That's what I was trying to say earlier. And that's what I'm saying. Work towards your goals. Write down your goals in terms of priority. List them, see them physically. Write down how you want to achieve your goals, what you want to do by when, and work towards it. For example, I said my goal for this year, for 2023, is to get to 100,000 subscribers, right? And honestly, it's a little bit scary, and that's okay. It's okay to be scared. But I have to do something about it, because if I don't do anything about it, I'm never going to get to 100,000 subscribers. It's just not going to happen. People aren't going to subscribe to me out of just like, oh, I'll just subscribe to... No. People will subscribe to me because I post content, because I reach out, because I advertise, because I share videos, because whatever the case is, I have to do something about it. I have to put work behind it. And that's what I'm saying. You have to do the same thing with your goals. If your goal is to make 10, 20,000 more than you're currently making, okay. How do you do that? If you're already making 40,000, 50,000, how do you get to 70,000? You have to think, okay, well, is it likely that I can get to that point in my current position, in my current job, in my current whatever? If the answer is no, then you have to think outside of that then and say, okay, how can I make more money? I can get another job. Is that realistic for my current living situation? If you have a family, it might not be. So it's like, okay, maybe I should get into a different occupation. What kind of occupations can I get into? You have to ask yourself questions. If you don't ask yourself questions, you're never going to get to the solution. You're just going to be sitting there, and it's going to be hard. And and yeah, well, just hold on. I'm going to take off my glasses because it's putting a lot of pressure on my ears. You have to figure it out, guys. You have to figure it out. I know life's hard. I know that it's gonna be a long journey for you to get to where you want, but it will become even longer if you do not set the time aside to really think it through, to really ask yourself what's important for you, to really put the work behind it. You have to. If you don't put any work, it's gonna take way longer for you to even start. And then that's the other thing. For me, I don't like thinking that I've had regrets in my life, but I wish I would have started YouTube 5-10 years ago. I've seen people that I started 10 years ago. They're at like 5 million, 10 million, 15 million subscribers. And that's great for them. I'm not hating on them. They put work, they did what they had to do, and now they are where they should be. They worked for it. And I'm where I should be because I didn't work for it. But now I'm here and I'm doing this. And I'm hoping that the work that I put behind this will pay off in the future. Now, if it pays off soon, that's great. But if it doesn't, I just have to be patient and continue to put work. Because, that's just how it works, man. Or woman. But yeah, anyways, that was Mega Man X. Thank you guys. If you guys stuck around, I really appreciate it. I know sometimes my train of thought kind of gets lost. It's going to happen from time to time. I apologize. My throat's a little tired, so there's also that. Yeah, Sigma's right here at the end. Blah blah blah. He comes back. You guys know the drill. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I would appreciate if you guys like this video, if you guys share this video. I'm going to be posting it on different places. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of haters. That's part of the deal. There's going to be people that are going to try to push you against what you want to do. You just have to have faith, be patient, and just put the work in. Just put the work in. And I have faith that my work will lead towards something. It might not be where I want to be, but as long as it's heading in that direction, I know I'm doing something right. And that's how you know, guys, because it's like sometimes it takes a lot longer than we expect it to. But as long as you're heading in that direction, you're doing okay. Just keep doing that, okay? All right, guys. Thank you for sticking around. This was Mega Man X. I had fun. It was very frustrating, to be honest. It was a tough one. But I grew up playing this game, so that's why I chose it. Anyways, next, I don't know which one I'm going to be playing next, to be honest. I was thinking about Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but we'll see. Alright, guys. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.